Okay, so let's get started here. A few questions I saw in the discussion section. One, I can't animate Fred. When I select on Fred, everything is selected. That's normal, all right? When you select an object, in this case, it's the armature, right? So not only Fred, but all the little objects in the scene are also part of this rig. So when you select it, if you want to animate, you need to go from object to pose mode. Once you're in pose mode, you can select and we can kind of animate the armature. So Fred is green, the parts of the set are blue. That's how you can tell them apart. But they are kind of one rig. So to get started, if I'm you, I go to frame 1 and then I place Fred where I want my animation to begin. So I'll come up. Maybe I start out with Fred on this platform. One thing to keep in mind, when you're working, the view space, if your navigation is set to view and you're moving these arrows, it's going to align their axis to your angle of the camera. I recommend changing view to local or even global. Let's just go with local. So stay with local. It's a little easier to see. You can move, rotate, scale. There are other videos how you're going to use Fred, right? So watch those. Make sure you look at the videos before you start asking a million questions. So watch the videos and then try again, and then post in the discussion forum. So that'll kind of get you started with Fred. Or you can also set and move all these pieces. But remember, if you're not making a keyframe, local rotation and scale, it's not recording anything. If you put on auto key, it will automatically record. So what you do, up to you. I don't really care. If it's easier for you to manually keyframe, do it. If you want to auto key, do that. All right. So if you're not keyframing, meaning auto key isn't on, and I move something and then I move my timeline, it will snap back into place. So that's this. The next question that I got was how do you work the camera? Well, if you hit this symbol for camera here, you're going to look through your camera view. If your camera is set to view, lock camera to view, move this a little bit, and I move my camera around, all right, nothing's going to happen. So why? What happened? Well, auto key's not on. That's one. So auto key, camera, rotate it. All right, it worked. The problem is I'm not seeing my keyframe data down here. And the reason is you're in pose mode and the camera is not part of this rig. So you need to be in object mode. So object mode, over here in your scene collection, you'll see there's a camera. So select your camera and then you can kind of see the camera keyframes at the bottom. So camera, you need to be in object mode. The armature, you need to be in pose mode. The last question I got was, well, how do I submit this? When you're done, just file, save as. Wherever you save, find that file. So Fred with set final, that's my file. I'll save that. I'll take that .blend file and I'll submit it to Canvas. I realize that this is our first time kind of animating. It can be a little frustrating. You'll get better the more that you do it. All I'm asking is that you get better, all right? And you get better by doing. So try your best. If it's not the greatest thing in the world, that's okay. Just make your first part of this animation, save it, submit to Canvas. Then you're going to make a second part, and then you'll make an ending. So you'll have 3 parts of this. Hopefully you'll get better as you go. By the end, if you're doing the animation, you're putting in 20 minutes a day, I guarantee you'll get better. All right. But if you don't put the time in, you're not going to get better. A little frustrating. Just fight through it. If you have questions, post in the discussion section. That's the best way. That way we can all see the questions. And if I answer a question, I answer it for everybody. If you have something else that you need to talk to me about, you can just shoot me an email. That's fine. But discussions on how to or things aren't working, post in the discussion section. Then we can all chip in. And if you happen to see a classmate that needs some help and you know the answer, please answer the question for them. I teach a bunch of different classes, and I'm not always on that discussion section 24 hours a day. So if you have a question, post and help each other out. All right, happy animating.